Now, when I create listing type websites, one of the most common questions I get asked is how do we create hierarchical filters? And if you're not sure what a hierarchical filter is, let me just show you. This is what I'm talking about. We've got three different pieces of information. The first one, you can see we can choose between the UK or the Republic of Ireland, and depending on what we choose will affect the second one. So we choose the UK. You'll see now that shows us England, Scotland, and Wales. So if I choose in this example, England, that will now affect the third option, which in this case is a city. And as you can see, we've got Bath, Bristol, and London. However, if we come back and choose something like Wales, then the third one only shows Cardiff in this example. Now this is set up to only show where we actually have information. In this case, it's a real estate type website, so where properties are for sale. Once we finish with it, we can reset that, but you can see once we choose this option, let's choose Cardiff, and we scroll down, we now have that filtered down to the individual property, which is located in Cardiff. So let me show you how we can create this using a plugin called GridBuilder WP. Now, before we move on, this is a sponsored video by GridBuilder WP, but I'm going to give you no opinions. I'm simply going to demonstrate how you can create this kind of setup for yourself, and then you can make a more informed decision for yourself if this is something you want to look at a little bit deeper. Links in the description down below. So we're going to break this video down into three different sections. The first part is how we go about setting up the data to make sure that we can create the filter setup that we need. The second is how we create the actual filter, or facets as they're called, to be able to work with our data. And then the third and final section is going to be how we can integrate this, in this example, into Bricks Builder, but you can use other builders if you want to be able to actually display the information and start filtering correctly. So let's start with the first point of actually creating and setting up the data in the right format. So setting up the data to start off with is the most vital part of the overall process. If you get this wrong, things won't work the way you expect them to. It's very easy to set up though. So we're going to be using this real estate website that I've just shown you. I've got a custom post type called properties, and I've created a custom taxonomy called property locations. If we go and take a look at that property locations, we've got things broken out into three different sections here. We've got the country. In this example, we've got the Republic of Ireland, the sort of master country, or we've got the UK. Then inside there, we've got things broken down into either counties or into countries again, sort of sub-countries. So for example, we've got Derry. And we've also got England, we've got Scotland and Wales, and then we've got a third tier, which are the cities inside those different locations. So for example, inside the Republic of Ireland, inside Derry, we've got Belfast. Inside the United Kingdom, inside Wales, we've got Cardiff, so the three tiers. This is how we're going to set things up with our facets. So providing you set things up here in the right fashion, it's very easy to move on. So let me show you, let's add another one in. Let's say we want to add another one into Wales. What we're going to do is we're going to set this to be, for example, Newport. I'm going to come down to the parent property location, and from there, we're going to scroll through until we find Wales and select it. Add the new property location in, and you can see now we have under Wales, we've got Newport and Cardiff. Now the next thing, working in conjunction with this, is making sure that we've selected all the relevant different property location fields. Inside there, we've got the property locations. So if we take a look, you can see I've checked United Kingdom, England, and London for this property. This is the key thing here. We do need to make sure that we select all of these to get it all working the way that we want it to. I am looking at a way of creating a code snippet or getting a code snippet put together that allows us to select, for example, London, and England and the United Kingdom would automatically pre-selected. At this point in time, I don't have that, but I will update the video description and a link to it if we get that all working. So with that being said, that's the first part of the whole process set up. We've created our property location structure. We've then gone and made sure that we've selected all of the relevant property location details from the three levels and have those set up as well. So now let's move on to the next stage. So stage 2 is all about creating the custom facets for our filter. So we've got three different distinct sections, and we've got a reset button as well. So we need to create 4 facets. Now facets are basically just an individual filter. They can be searches, they can be filters like we've seen in this example, all manner of different ways of setting these up. So what we need to do is come into WP Grid Builder, choose the All Facets option, and now we can create our first facet. So let's say Add New. And from here, we can set up various different parameters. We can choose what we want it to do. Do we want it to filter it, load it, sort it, and so on. Now, I've covered various different options with this in their own dedicated videos. I've got a playlist linked here and also in the description if you want to check out more and get to understand how the whole WP Grid Builder setup all works. So for this example, we're going to say we want to filter content. Then underneath you've got the filter type. So we've got things like checkboxes, drop downs and so on. For this we want to choose the drop down option. Then we choose our data source. It's going to be posts, and we're going to drop this list down and we're going to start typing in location. You see there's our property locations. We'll select that from the list. Next we need to open up the advanced settings, and from there we need to set one important thing, and that is the term depth. So term depth denotes basically how far inside the hierarchy of our property locations we go. So you've got United Kingdom and the Republic of Ireland, that's the top level. And inside there then we've got Wales, Scotland and so on, that's the second level. And then we've got the third level, which are the actual towns or cities that we're referencing. This is the very top level, so we'll set this to be 0. We shouldn't need to configure anything else then, so if we want to show empty choices, let's disable that. Disable the choice count and hide the show children. And you can, if you want to, set this up and customize the sort of combo box option. So we can set a combo box, clearable list, and so on. You kind of get the idea. We'll just set combo box and clearable list, and there we go. So now if you want, you've got conditions. We don't need to set any conditions inside here because we want this to always show up. And if we come into advanced, in here we can give this a slug name and a title. So for our facet slug, we're going to drop in parent country, and the facet title, set this to location in this example. Now this is what's going to be sent via the URL. It's not that important because we're filtering on the same page, but this is quite useful if you want to have shareable links. So the final thing we need to do is just give this a name. We'll call this parent country and we'll hit save. That's now going to index the data it finds, and we've created our first facet. So if we go to all facets, there's our first one. Now we're going to repeat that procedure for the 2 other facets that we need. So let's add a new facet in. Do the same thing again, filter content, choose the option for drop down, scroll down, open up the options here, search for location, open up the advanced settings, and this time we're going to set our term depth to 1. We'll remove all these options as well, so everything is the same. And we'll come over to the advanced section, going to give this a slug name. We'll call this sub-country. Again, come up and give this a name. Hit save. That will then index this, and we've created our second facet. So let's do the third and final one. So we'll add a new facet. Let's make life easy and just say city for the name. Filter content is fine. Drop down. Property location. Term depth in this example is going to be 2. Disable any of the options we don't want. Enable any of the options we do want. And finally come over to advanced and give this a title. Hit save and reindex, and that's stage 2 almost finished. The final thing we need to do is create one more facet that's just literally going to be a reset button. So to do that, we're going to come over and we're going to say reset filters. You can say the button label if you want to. Come over again and we'll set this to be reset all filters. Come on, give it a name. Call this reset. Click save. And there we are. So now if we're going to take a look at our facets, we've got 4 different facets. Our 3 for our parent country, sub-country and city, and a reset button we can use to reset them all. So there we go. We now have 4 facets created. Our 3 to deal with our countries and cities, and finally the reset button as well. Now if you want to take a look to make sure that everything is all set up correctly, we can pop into the dashboard. This tells us the indexer has indexed, in this example, 21 rows. That's all our data being pulled in. And if for any reason you add data and it doesn't show up straight away, what you can do is you could clear this index, or you can come into your facets, open one of these up, for example, the city. You've added a new city and it isn't showing. Then you can click on reindex. That will then clear the index for that, reindex it, and then your new data should show up correctly. So that's the second part of the overall process completed. The third and final section is to add these facets into our overall design and ensure that everything is working correctly. So we're now into GridBuilder, and this is where we're going to insert our facets and our reset button. So let me quickly show you what I've got set up. And like I say, this isn't limited to using bricks. You can use Elementor, you can use Gutenberg, you can use all manner of different things. The process is fundamentally the same. So we've got a section at the top that's going to house our 4 different facet sections. And then if we scroll down, you can see we've got a normal post loop, which is showing, in this example, our properties. So the first thing we want to do is go and insert the facets. Then we can connect those to the relevant loop to ensure that it knows what to filter. So what I've done is I've created this section at the top. Inside there, we've got 4 blocks. So let's open up the first block and let's insert our first facet. So come up to the top for elements, search for facet. There's our first facet. Let's insert it and expand this out. Choose the facet. And now what we can do is we can select which facet we want. So let's open this up. We're going to choose parent country from the list. Select a grid element to filter. So this is where we need to make sure that we've got the right element. So if we take a look on the right-hand side on the structure panel, you can see I've got a property section. Inside there, I've got a property loop, which holds all this. And then we've got a typical query loop with each of the card designs. So let's come back up to our facets, open up the grid element. And what we want is the bricks card. You can click on that and you can see it says we've got this hash GUTOUY. This is the unique ID for that particular card section, the loop. If we click on it, you can see it shows exactly what we've got there, GUTOUY. So we're making sure we've got the right thing selected. This is the right element to actually filter against. You can then, if you want to, choose styles, and I've covered this in a previous video. Again, check out that, all the details in the description. So I can choose property styles. That's customized the look of this particular one. There's the first one, done. So now what we're going to do is we're going to repeat this. Select our second block, come back up, search for facet, add a facet in, expand this out, choose the facet. This time we're going to select sub-country for the second level. Choose the option here, making sure we choose the same loop. And finally, we'll choose the same property style. We can, if we want to, just duplicate this one, move this into its relevant block position, select it, and just simply change that from sub-country to city. And then the final one is our reset. So again, let's just duplicate this, move this into its relevant block, select it, choose the option for reset, and there's our reset button in place. And if we want to, we can control and style that how we want. So if you come into style, for example, we can just set this and we'll go to layout and we'll just choose width of 100%. So there we go. We've now created all of our facets. So let's go and test them out. Let's click save and let's test our page. So what we're going to do, first of all, let's open the location. There's our UK and Republic of Ireland. Let's choose UK. Now we should find England, Scotland and Wales. If we go back and choose the Republic of Ireland, you can see we've got Derry. Let's choose UK one more time. Let's choose Wales. And then the third and final one, you can see Cardiff because that's the only one that's actually got a property in it. However, we come back and choose something like England. You can see we've got London, Bath and Bristol. Let's choose London. Scroll down. And there's our 2 properties in London. As you can see, there's London and London. Come back up. Let's change that from London to something like Bath. Scroll down. You can see there's our property in Bath. Job done. Everything is working. Click the reset. And all those are reset back to their default values. So this is a really simple example, but you could use this in so many different instances. If you're a car dealership, online sales like this with real estate, all manner of different ways of using it. Just make sure that you set up the hierarchy at the beginning and you can configure everything then with each of the individual records, connecting those up to the relevant taxonomies. As long as that structure is in place, the rest is pretty much plain sailing. The final thing I want to show you though, is that if we take a look at the address bar, we have a fully shareable link. So we could share this entire URL and it will filter it based upon the parameters that are sent via the URL. This is super useful if you want to share information or you want to set things like this up and you want to use them with online ads and so on. This will take them straight to that filtered information based upon what you've chosen. It's pretty neat. Now, if you want to learn more about working with GridBuilder WP, you can check out this playlist. Links in the description. As always, my name is Paul C. This is WPTuts, and until next time, take care.